So I thought of doing something crazy for this week, and that is to begin the Sunday thing with a couple minutes of the beginning to the new album. As I'm recording it, I thought, you know what would be cool? If we shared this special moment together. I've already done this guitar's take, and I'm gonna use the other guitar now for the second take, and you are coming along on the ride with me. Does that sound cool? All right, second guitar time. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, hi, my name is Mehran, and I am a musician, an indie musician now, and I'm recording my 5th studio album. In one of the previous videos, I've explained my recording process, that I'm recording the rhythm guitars of this. This is a metal album. I'm recording everything twice, once with that guitar with active pickups. That's an ESP, that's an LTD Snakebite. And once with this one, this has Tesla pickups, it's passive, my Harley Benton custom. And together they sound really good. I should just probably tune this guitar. But other than that, we're ready to rock and roll. All right, here we go.
Absolutely vital to the continuation of human life on this planet.
Oops, I made a mistake. We have to go back and try again. Usually in studios you would punch in, but I like to keep as much of a human performance as possible, so I'm not punching in. Let's go from the top. No, I made the same mistake again. Okay, third time's the charm. And I know a lot of the purists, if you're watching this, are like, come on, just punch the last bar in. I will do it if I was like super tired. It's still early in the morning. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling rejuvenated. I'm ready. I just have to check my tuning, and then we are off to the races. Let's go. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Oh my God. I made a mistake again. All right. This is the last time. I promise. This is the last time. Like my brain was just all over the place. Last take. I shouldn't change the name. This is G1HB as in Harley Benton. Let's record last take. There we go. Now we let it ring until the verse begins. We wait. There we go. And that is how albums are made. Well, we're at minute 3 of this album, and this album is around 2 hours, so wish me luck. Back to me in the future. So, as you saw, this week's episode of A Sunday Thing began a bit differently. You are watching this right now on August the 1st, which means we are a few weeks away from the beginning of the back to school season and me getting back to classes and becoming a teacher again and all that jazz. Right now, I am looking at the album chart, and I'd say around 15% of it is marked. I don't know. Hopefully within the next few weeks, the weather will allow me to continue working, even though I have been working under what would be not really extreme conditions, but the weather has been extremely hot again. And I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous video or not, but Strasbourg is a city that is very, like, majoritively, it's a cold weather city. And so for years, for dozens, not hundreds of years, the architecture of the buildings and the houses have been, they've been designed to keep heat in so that the inside would be better to stay when it's cold out there, which is like 8-9 months generally in the city. And so in summertime, when the heat waves hit, plural, the place just becomes like a Faraday cage. Anyway, I hope you're having an awesome time. The second mid-roll episode of this week talks about conditioning and how I approach working and resting balance, and a little bit of science. There's this guy in science, Pavlov, which is kind of infamous / I guess known for his, is it theory? Is it like reinforcing positive behavior? Maybe you've heard of Pavlov's cat or dog. I don't know which animal it was, but the idea is when your pet does something that you desire, you reward them with treats, and when they do something that you don't desire, you kind of, you spray them with some water or something. The point is that you reward positive behavior with prizes, and you don't reward negative behaviors with prizes, which is something that a lot of, believe it or not, modern ways of pedagogy of the past 30-40 years were built on. But why am I saying this? Check this creepy store out. I think it's the tattoo place. Could be wrong though. I mean, I am filming this on Sunday, so it's Sunday evening. So the whole city is pretty much shut down. A couple of hours, maybe a few bars might open if there's if there's a match or something. But generally, Sunday evenings, the place becomes perfect for a walk and talk. Anyway, Pavlov. I don't know the reason, but whenever I start working and I like lock in and focus on getting any kind of work project done, probably because I'm on some kind of a spectrum or something, but I completely forget the passage of time, and I frequently have missed meals, some important phone calls, because I was just locked into my little corner doing the things. A couple of times actually, I remember when I stopped working because I was hearing like the sound of roosters hearkening the beginning of a new day. As I stood up, I remember as I stood up, I'm like my knees gave out and just I fell. But it's been many years since those days, and because now I guess I know myself a tiny bit more. One thing that I'm trying to do a bit more of is to take regular breaks in between intense activities, whatever it is I'm doing. And this album has been, I don't want to whine about something that I'm absolutely in love with. However, as I've mentioned many times in these videos, complaining is healthy. And so usually my day begins with me making breakfast while loading up the computer programs that contain my album, like the project files, taking a listen, taking notes, and trying to fix things as I am like having my breakfast or working or whatever it is that I'm doing. And today I felt that my back is just killing me completely. So I stopped a tiny bit earlier and decided to leave my place, choose a direction that I have, to my knowledge, I've never chosen this direction, for a bit of a walk and talk about conditioning, like the whole Pavlov thing, as well as something that's really important to me as an artist. And I think it should be important to you as either an artist or a fan of art. And that is generative AI. My phone just gave me an alert that there's going to be a rainstorm in the next few hours. This really doesn't look like rainstorm weather to me, but I am not toying with fate anymore when it comes to rain, since I lost the microphone to the last thunderstorm we had. Although that one's on me because I knew that my stuff, like my camera and my mic, aren't waterproof. I still chose to try to be cool and film some epic shots. Anyway, AI. So when generative AI was introduced, I think it was the first year of COVID. I think it was 2018, 2019. I could be wrong, but it was a few years from now. And I used it a bit. It was really interesting for me because it was able to form full sentences a lot better than at the time, like the only technology that people recognized with generative responses was Siri, an Apple device. And I will remember my first iPhone was an iPhone 4S, S for Siri, and it was a whole thing. The ability that your phone would talk to you and do things for you on a very basic level, check the date, check the weather. And even back then, it was very clear, if you were in the know, that this is not going to be where this train's going to stop. It's going to stop a lot more, at a lot more than just giving you the time or the weather. And so it became this constant source of, I guess, a constant topic of conversation. It got to a point that it started creating things, it started generating things. I think create is a wrong verb to use. It started generating things like pictures and eventually sounds, videos, and today in 2026 we have services like Suno which are capable of generating songs within seconds. I've tried it. I've showed it even to my students in my music class, and I've reminded them the dangers of magical thinking. However, there is one thing that is kind of it's a point of, I don't want to say shame, but it's a point of question on my resume when it comes to music, specifically artwork and generative AI. Something that I've been trying to fix, and it's partially being fixed as we speak. When it comes to artworks on my music, I have a couple of weird, I guess, rules or guidelines that I've always respected for the past 25 years. The first thing is I will never want to put myself in any of the artworks. A, because I don't think anybody looking at whatever this is would be interested in hearing what's inside the music box. And B, I kind of want the artwork to be a representation or the extension of the song itself, rather than just me looking in the distance for no reason. You know what I mean? So for forever, what I've been using is I've either taken photographs real photographs of real places, made collages with them, made graphic designs all over them. I even drew a couple of the artworks. I made things using paper and photographed them and edited them. For pretty much everything that I've done, the artwork has been a work of actual human doing things. I've commissioned a couple of the artworks, and so other than 4 or 5 songs in my entire roster, in my entire discography so far, everything has been human-made, other than a few songs. The re-release of Le Labyrinthe, which I did a couple of Septembers ago. The acoustic release of Elise. I'm trying to remember all of them. Love Left in Me. What else? I don't know. A couple more songs like this. And I used generative AI for the artwork, and it was disclosed in the credits of the song. But I still feel like I should do better. I should be better. And since then, I've started thinking about ideas and design things that I can do with my own capabilities to come up with cool artworks. And if you go on my Spotify or my socials, wherever the music is being played, you will see that Labyrinth has a new artwork. I contacted the photographer. Things are pretty good when it comes to the artworks. Currently, I'm working on the recreation of Elise. I found this cool picture of this very, very old statue that is a statue of, I don't even know what it is. It's in, I think it's in Ithaca, if I'm not wrong, or Fort Lauderdale. I think it's in Fort Lauderdale. Of this statue of this lady with who's opening her chest, and there's flowers and everything inside it. And I'm trying to put it into a cool artwork. And for Love Left in Me, I have this awesome idea, but it requires the weather to be a bit different, unless I use some artificial intelligence to alter the weather in the pictures, which kind of defeats the purpose of what I've been trying to do. But one thing that's certain is when 2026 ends, I will definitely make sure that there's nothing on my portfolio that is 100% AI generated, even though I generated them with my own prompts. It still feels disingenuous, specifically coming from somebody like me, and there is something that I intend to fix. I am fixing it, and there's nothing wrong with using placeholder art and then fixing it later. That's something that I didn't think was the case, but as it turned out, it was the case, and I am trying to do better, is my whole point. In the same vein, and as I'm walking home from my daily walk in between the album and other projects, I kind of want to talk to you about the idea that I've had for the artwork of the album. Maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't. I'm not sure if you have or you haven't. I think several videos ago, in the background of where I was speaking, there was a gas mask and a dream catcher. And I also ordered another piece of the cosmetic and art that I would be using hopefully within the next few days to finish up the artwork for this album. I'm kind of excited to see how it looks like, and it's the kind of ambition that I have is a bit dangerous sometimes, because it is costing me a lot of energy. And this is not about the finances, it's just that what is the point of everything that I'm doing? On a daily basis, around 100,000 songs are being sent to Spotify, and I want to say around 700,000 songs are being generated on Suno, just one website. What is the point? What is the point of me trying to do something so artistic when these are the numbers that I'm competing with? My album has 13 songs, and by the time it comes out, let's say in November, there will be millions of songs generated and put out by a bunch of different people. Many of them might actually land on the algorithms and receive a lot of listens. And the problem with that is that it could change the people's taste, and people would become more conditioned, going back to the whole Pavlov thing, to listening to programmed music and generated, even if you could call it music. It saddens me. It saddens me indeed. But the point I'm trying to make is, you know what? I'll do this. I'll just throw it at the wall, and I hope it sticks, because I'm far too deep to pull out of this project now. I'm not going to. I will have doubts as long as I'm alive. Self-doubt is a very powerful motivation tool, but we'll see. Let's get back to the studio and hopefully wrap up the song that I'm working on. Back to me in the future. And so finally, before we talk about and watch the performance song of this week, I had a bit of a moment like this past week where I was thinking about, okay, because I want to have the August episodes all featured new songs or songs that I haven't published out there, just for a bit of a, I don't know, change of pace. And from September I go back to doing the same songs, and not same songs, but like the same published songs that I will try to recreate. And so this next and final mid-roll of this week is about that, and about how I finally decided to, well, since I'm making content for social media as well, and for Instagram specifically, or TikTok, it needs to be vertical. It needs to be 19 by 16 by 9 ratio. And so I had this take for our jamming session with Alexan here in vertical mode, and I said, you know what, I think one thing I can do is to just, if you can't beat them, join them. So whenever I'm working on a song, on a single, on our project, whenever it reaches a point that I have like an export, I have a file that I can check and verify, what I do is I put the phone, like I get a stereo out bounce from my DAW, and I put it on my phone to listen to, which is usually like a demo, rough track, unfinished project, whatever you want to call that. And I listen to the song on my like usual music listening devices, my earphones, which would ideally be how other people consume. I hate that verb, but that's how people listen to music usually. They listen to music on their headphones, earphones, AirPods. So if the song that I'm mixing and I'm producing sounds good on these devices, that means it should sound good anywhere and everywhere. But right now I have a different problem. You see, usually by now, like by these moments in the week, I have finished filming, recording, editing, everything, the performance song of the week, which honestly, I think after 30 weeks I should probably start calling it with the correct name. I don't think performance song is like the correct combination. I think I should say song performance of the week. You know what I'm talking about, like the thing that ends these videos. And I have not done anything. I have not recorded anything. I have not filmed anything, and it isn't because like I was being lazy or anything. Quite the contrary, I've been working extremely hard on like the album and on the music, which is the problem here, and that is because usually I film, like I record the audio, like the audio production thing first, and then I put the video over it. And I can't do the audio thing because like the past week until today, until like these days, I've been working alongside Alexandre. She dropped by the studio for several hours, and we worked on the back vocals, on the harmonies, on all of the crazy stuff that I wanted her voice on. And like the thing is not completely set up, like the microphones, the situation for the album recording, and I don't use that specific setup, like the things for the performance song of the week. But the problem is, if I have to tear everything down just for one song and then put it back up, it's going to be a bit time consuming. And on the other hand, I kind of wanted these weeks, like the August weeks, to be all new songs, things that I am going to be releasing within the next, I don't know, few months. And this was supposed to be the week that I talk about, record and release Incomplete, which is a song that originally I worked with a different vocalist. We even released it, but that song had a very tragic ending and story attached to it, which kind of made me feel just like the song Incomplete. And so I wanted to reset that. I wanted to revisit that song and release it again with my own music thing and with Alexandre's voice, kind of like a featured artist situation. Now, we recorded the demo of that song like this. Which, as you can see, poses
two problems. Problem number one is that since we're also creating like content for Instagram and on TikTok, I filmed everything in the vertical aspect, not in the horizontal, not in my usual like aspect ratio. And that means it's kind of not going to be easy to put that in a video where half of the video is like that, the other half is like in a horizontal. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, but if the performance song comes up and like I am in one side and she's on the other side, that's the reason why. Now, as I am finishing this leg of the walking by cat sitting, as I am cat sitting tonight, I just wanted to explain something that I very briefly brushed off and just didn't explain well enough. I have been listening to the export, and that is essentially the first 15 minutes of the album is now ready. And that is, well, almost ready. It's like ready in a prototype, listenable state, which is unbelievable. All of these ideas and noises and words were just a bunch of things that I recorded on my computer like a year ago. And now they're actual physical files that one can listen to. And I hope when everybody else is listening to this, I hope they enjoy it, because after like the first 100 times, when I listen to something, after like the 101st time, I start completely hating my voice, the music, the composition, the arrangement. It's like, that second of the song, I forgot to do this thing. Oh, why is the guitar this like loud here? Like these like second and third guessing yourself. And I hate that. And so one thing I'm trying to practice for this album is, once it gets to a prototype stage, I should consider that thing frozen and I should move on. This album has 3 or 4, depending on how you want to count, very challenging songs for production, for mixing. There are these long, epic songs. Specifically, this last song of the album, Heresy. It's like, I think around 16 minutes. And Logic says that I should start working on the harder songs first, and then the less hard songs, if it makes any sense. But I think I'm gonna ping pong. I think I'm going to spend a lot of time on, I'm going to spend my time working on a challenging song first, then a less challenging song, then again a challenging song, because that way I probably will preserve my energy. Probably, I don't know. Anyway, if the whole point of all of this was to tell you that if the performance song of the week this week is a kind of weird, that's the reason why. So I guess back to me in the future to wrap this up.
And that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for watching, if you're still watching this, and I would super thanks if you could do the YouTube thing and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. We're 7 months in, 8 months now, and I think I'm a little over 400. So it would be super cool if you could do that. Some days I just ask myself if everything that I'm doing is worth it, because, well, I keep making these videos, I keep posting videos out there, and I keep telling my story, my process, things that, I don't know, I find hilarious to make, I find hilarious to work on. And sometimes I get good feedback, sometimes I get nothing, and that nothing kind of hurts, because indifference is truly the end of like art. Is what I'm doing art? I like to think so, but like there's always this shadow of doubt. There's always this self-doubt and self-hesitation that, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this, or should I be just focusing on other things? Well, this is how I, take summer breaks. I don't know how to do nothing. It's not something I learned. For me, it's always working or doing music or preparing a project. Sometimes they all meet up together. And so I just hope if you're watching this video still, you also not give up, because the world is full of people who gave up just before they could have made something of themselves. Anyway, I am rambling. I will be seeing you next week. Stay safe, stay sane, wherever you are, whenever you are, and have an awesome rest of your day, morning, evening. I learned a new word, forenoon, which is before noon. We have forenoon, noon, afternoon. And next week it's going to be again about music, about the album. Maybe I'll maybe something in between them. But these days, these past weeks, noise complaints included, it's all been about music. It's all been about the album, recording, and everything in between them. So I hope you still consider coming on this journey with me. Thank you so much. I'll be seeing you very soon, and peace.
These pages among this world, something lost and found again. Broken angel, flawless fall. Will this end before dawn calls your name? Fallen memories, perfect dreams. All you see in a lifetime torn, untouched heartbeats, flailing leaves, endless trains of thoughts and words. With this moment, something shine. Let me close my eyes and see that this world is burning and tides are turning. I see a faceless soul in these sheets, scarred by reason and fueled by senses. Like this story I feel incomplete.
Hey, you said story.
Yeah, I was speaking really hard tonight.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well, this was this video's performance song. I know it's a bit weird, but hey, it's all a learning process. Thank you for watching, and see me next week.